Welcome back for another podcast. Oh, we decided to change the name this time.
Give him the name.
What was the name again?
Wait, it's Bozo Bearded Experience.
Oh, the Bozo and Bearded Experience. Yeah, that's what it is. So the Bozo and Bearded Experience. He's Bozo. I'm bearded, obviously. I guess. I don't know. It's something we're going with, and we went with experience because this is definitely a questionable thing to call a show. We decided on. It's definitely an experience though, and it's a good thing to piggyback off of Joe Rogan. He's doing the right thing. So, I don't know. But today we're going to talk about general comic book stuff, like movies, TV shows mostly, and then we'll glance over, we'll start off with, what we like and what we do with comic books. So, I guess first off, I'll go. I'm a late bloomer for comic books. I found them after I graduated high school, so within, the last 7 years or so, because I'm 25, so about the last 7 years. Flash was the first one I really got into. He's awesome, and I will argue forever and never stop until you accept that the Flash is the best superhero. It's just a matter of fact at this point. I don't know, honestly. But watch all the CW stuff. Me and Russell talk about all the TV shows and movies constantly. Every time they come out, when there's a new trailer, we'll DM each other the thing, make sure we saw it and all that kind of stuff. And just before this, we were spam watching all the trailers we hadn't got to watch, like all the new CW stuff coming out in the next year or so. And there's a lot of cool stuff. Wild. There's a lot of cool stuff. But yeah, I'm a Flash fan, so obviously I'm a DC fan. And if it wasn't the Flash, I would pick Batman, because Batman creates the best villains. It's very dark, and they've got really good writing, and the storylines are pretty cool. The dynamics with all the Robins and Batman being a little edgelord, is pretty cool. So, what about you? I mean, he kind of is an edgelord. He's kind of an emo edgelord.
So I started off, because I haven't really got into, the actual comics and, reading the comics. And so I kind of just keep up with that through Caleb, honestly, because he does that. And he'll tell me about, hey, this is coming up in this.
Yeah.
And,
I get really excited and have to tell someone.
Yeah, so, I mean, yeah, I'm his outlet for that. Mm-hmm. But I'm into the movies and, the cartoons and the TV shows, because
it's also good.
I'm definitely more into the Batmans, but my favorite part about the Batmans is probably the Robins. I love all the different Robins and the Jason Todd, the Red Hood, and Nightwing and
they've
Damian.
All got their own dynamic going on. They all become something different than actually Robin.
Because I guess my favorite TV show when I was a child on Cartoon Network was Teen Titans, and not Teen Titans Go, but Teen Titans.
Yeah, the original.
And it doesn't say, but I think that's Dick Grayson.
I think it's assumed. It never really says, or at least I don't remember.
Yeah, but
I think it was before Damian was a thing.
Mm-hmm. He's more recent. So I mean, I love the Robins, and if I had to pick a second, it would definitely be the Flash.
Yeah, obviously.
Justice League was a TV show when I was on, and Flash was just the funniest character on there. So as a third grader, I was like, oh, I love the Flash.
So you call me a third grader, Russel?
No. Back then, I just loved him. I was like, he's cooler than the Martian and superhero and all that. Superman.
That's true.
So I was like, I like the Flash. So I like the Flash TV show. Barry Allen, cool dude.
It's a very well written show. I like it. Mm-hmm. They introduce a lot of the old school superheroes. It makes me smile a lot watching it. Oh man, that's him. Yeah. Oh, that's Captain Cold. Oh yes. Oh. Just get really excited.
So that's my background on just, I guess, how I became. So I'm definitely a DC guy.
Yeah. That's not to say we don't like Marvel, because we watch the crap out of those Marvel movies and stuff, man. I watch
Spider-Man's my all-time favorite.
If I had to pick a Marvel one, I think I would go with
Iron Man.
I think Spider-Man. Spider-Man's the closest to Flash.
Spider-Man or Iron Man, just because I can't even think of his name that plays him.
Robert Downey?
Yeah. Robert Downey Jr. He's awesome.
Yeah, but the Spider-Man's pretty cool. It's a pretty cool show. The old Tobey Maguire stuff was... he got emo really quick, but the first Spider-Man was really good. And I kind of like all the new Spider-Mans that they've been trying to do. They've all been good in their own way. The Andrew Garfield one, a lot of people hated on it, but I was okay with it.
In upcoming, we don't have Venom in there, speaking of Spider-Mans.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. Okay, so basically we're just going to talk about movies that came out this year, movies coming up, at least up to this point, and then our basic general thoughts on them, maybe what we think might happen in the future movies coming up. We'll also talk about the TV shows, he doesn't watch as much as I do because he has a life. So
that's not true.
So I'll glance over him and he can like, oh yeah, but I mean it's okay. All right, so we'll start with the movies that have come out, and then we'll. There's no particular order. I literally just listed them on a Word document as they came out, and if we missed any, just let me know.
Comment below.
Comment below, or just tweet me. It's probably easier. And people listening to this probably have my phone number, so just text me or Russell. Honestly, this is for fun. I'm not worried about it. So this year, the Black Panther came out, which is a very big deal. And not because Black Lives Matter or political reasons or anything like that. It's because Black Panther's a really fucking cool superhero. Like, he opens up the world so much because Wakanda literally gives Iron Man, Spider-Man, etc., all of the really cool technology that you get to see fight Thanos, in Infinity War, I'm talking about. They get like all this nanotech stuff, or it looks like nanotech. They get really high grade weapons.
Is that how he has that jumpsuit? It's like a hoodie, and it just turns into that.
Who you talking about?
Iron Man.
Yes, basically.
Yeah.
Yeah. And Spider-Man has the exact same thing. It just like envelops him, and it's really cool. And the Black Panther itself is amazing. Like the soundtrack is done by Kendrick Lamar, which is perfect. It perfectly fits the movie and the mood and the feel. All that goodies, all those good things. Why did I say goodie?
That's weird.
That was weird. But the story itself is not a typical superhero movie, and that's kind of like the theme going on with this year. There's a lot of movies that are superhero movies, but they're not like superhero movies per se. Like Logan, a year or two ago that came out, is a superhero movie, but it's not a superhero movie. It's got drama, it's got character development, it's got really good writing, it's got suspense, and it's not all about beating people up, but there's plenty of beating up, which is amazing.
And it's kind of cool. He's like a prince too. I think like the only maybe like Wonder Woman. She's a princess. That might be the only one.
Yeah, she's like a Amazon goddess kind of thing.
So that's kind of cool.
But yeah, Chadwick Boseman does a really good job of encapsulating what the Black Panther is about. He's about the morals. He's about doing the right thing, even if it's something you don't want to do. And it's like this old school, like the whole movie is like this old school tribal feel to it, and not because they're in Africa, but because the way they do things, it's very like, take this herb and you envelop the powers of the Black Panther kind of thing, right? Like that's exactly how he gets the powers, is he eats something and becomes super duper strong and has all this knowledge of the past ones kind of thing. But the movie does a really good job. It's got a message across all of it. It all ties together. None of it's random. None of it's useless. It's all pretty important and impactful to the movie, I would say. What are your general thoughts about it?
No, I thought it was a good movie. You pretty much said everything I would say.
Yeah, I kind of talk a lot. I need to.
It's fine.
I kind of get off on these tangents. But yeah, the Black Panther's really cool. Like they do a good job without they don't need to use other heroes to make the Black Panther, which is really cool. Like sometimes when you have these original movies, like with Spider-Man, he needed Tony Stark to become Spider-Man instead of Spider-Man.
Yeah.
Stuff like that. So that was cool. They let him do it on his own.
They had to use not Infinity War, but the other one to set up the Spider-Man.
Yeah,
I can't think of
the Civil War one?
Yeah, Civil War.
Yeah, basically. I don't know, and it's a solid movie. It's well put together, and it leads perfectly into Infinity War because it comes out just before that almost. Mm-hmm. Like it comes out right before.
It's really cool because all the Marvels movies were like every single one like built up to Infinity War. Yeah, they were all related.
Mm-hmm. It's there's no pointless thing. Like even like the Ant-Man and Wasp has Infinity War stuff in it. Deadpool talks about it. There's a lot of cool stuff, and like the TV shows from Marvel,
Deadpool
they all
makes jokes about it.
Yeah, he does. And then the TV shows from Marvel, they all talk about what happened in New York. They all preference they talk about Thor, they'll talk about Hulk, the big green guy, the big dude with the hammer. They'll talk about Cap, all that stuff. They do a really good job of making it all fit together. So moving from Black Panther, which is, if you haven't seen it, you should go watch it. Michael B. Jordan, right? It's
yeah,
Michael B.
Right.
Jordan. He's the villain, but he's not really a villain. But he's the bad guy that Black Panther ends up having to fight, kind of thing. But he's not really a bad guy.
Wait, who played Black Panther?
Chadwick Boseman.
Okay.
Yeah. But Michael B. Jordan's character, I can't remember his name, but the character's name. But he's like a dude he's like in a bad situation, and it just like led to this point. It's not because he wanted to do something evil, but he wanted to become the Black Panther himself and make his family proud, kind of thing. Like he felt like he was supposed to be Black Panther, so he fought for it.
It was like a rival thing.
Yeah, it wasn't. There was actually no there wasn't like a regular bad guy, which was really cool. Which is it was different, and I liked it. I liked it a lot, and it wasn't.
It was just basically a movie introducing Black Panther to the universe.
But like the thing that caught me off guard was when the movie ended. I didn't know why I liked it for a few hours. It took me a little bit to understand why I liked it, and it's because the story fits so freaking well. Like the story it gives, and this is gonna sound super cliche because I'm a white guy talking about Black Panther, but like with the political unsteadiness in the world today, like it was a really good movie, right? Like I don't know, it might just be me.
I don't know.
For those reasons, it like fit well. Like,
I was kind of nervous like watching it because like I hate when movies like get like in the political like side of things, and you can tell like, oh, that was clearly just about the, the new Purge movie.
Right.
It was literally all just like it was so political. It was just like a political message, is all it was.
Yeah.
And I was nervous going into it and watching it, but if you watched it, I mean, there wasn't anything like.
Yeah.
People had to make it into political thing because it wasn't meant to be that at all.
Right.
And that's why I like the movie.
It's literally just a superhero movie, which is awesome.
That was it.
It's the messages behind it are more than just a normal superhero movie. It's like it's not like the normal do good because you need to do good. It's like I don't know. It's deeper than that. I don't know. You got to watch the movie to because I just don't want to say the message. Like that would sound stupid because it's an opinion thing that you get out of the movie. But like for me, it was really cool, and it's something I would watch all the time. Like if it's on, I'm gonna watch it. Like it's like one of those movies. So
the message is basically just do good things. Don't be bad people.
Yeah.
It's simple.
Don't be stupid.
Yeah.
You know, don't do stupid things for no reason. Okay. So the next one I have here is Avengers: Infinity War. So this movie was intense. They managed to fit all the superheroes they had on there in it. Like there's
everything.
like
everything. Like Guardians of the
Guardians of the Galaxy.
Yes. Thanks for helping me spit that out. Like literally, like every Marvel movie ever made, and I guess this time period was in there.
Yeah, and they didn't come together just because they needed to come together for this movie. They came together because the endings of their movies or their stories meant that they were coming to wherever they're going, right? And then they used that without having to like do random crap in between movies to like jump off and go into Infinity War. So like the Guardians of the Galaxy were finishing their stuff and coming back. And
it's all like pretty much Guardian of the Galaxy storyline. Where Thanos comes from.
Yeah, because Gamora is Thanos' daughter. Basically.
And then each Infinity Stones in like the different Marvel movies.
Right. Yeah. So Doctor Strange has the time one, which is like why he's in it and why Iron Man and stuff are with him. There are going to be spoilers, by the way. I've already said this, but there are going to be spoilers. And if you have not seen Avengers: Infinity War, there are big spoilers to the entire Marvel universe. So
yeah, just stop the video now if you
if you have not seen it and you want to see it, you should not listen to this. Like
assuming that everybody that's going to watch this has already seen it.
Yeah,
honestly,
but I feel like I wanted to make sure.
Yeah.
Okay, but so like it takes place in 3 parts. Like one part's on Mars, one part's in Wakanda. And where's the other one? Where else are they fighting?
I
can't remember. Mars, Wakanda. I think it's just Mars and Wakanda.
Well, whatever spaceship it starts out on.
Oh, that's Thor. That's where Thanos gets the original stone. Yeah. And like he destroys Thor's, or no, he kills Loki in the opening scene.
But the end battles are just on. It's Mars.
Yeah, that's where they end up at.
Mars, and then
or Saturn, maybe.
A different planet.
I think it's Saturn. I remember the rings. But anyways, like
and then,
Thanos is like from Saturn, and that's where they go. And the Doctor Strange is there with them, and the Chris Pratt. I can't remember his name now in the Guardians of the Galaxy, but Chris Pratt's character, and then
Star-Lord,
and Tony Stark is there. Spider-Man's there, and they're all there. Like they have a plan, just like in the comic books. For people who don't know, in the comic books, Infinity War is a very big deal, just as well like in the cinematic universe. They go to fight Thanos and inevitably don't beat him, and they have like the X-Men with them, and they have Wolverine, and they got actual Hulk, like the Hulk who's in the movie, Hulk is having ED issues. Basically, he can't like be the Hulk. The Hulk is terrified because of what happens in the opening scene when Thanos shows how powerful he is and just murders Loki. The Hulk literally becomes afraid of him, which is like a big deal. They're trying to show you how scary and strong Thanos really is in comparison, because Hulk is the strongest dude that's not Thor. Mm-hmm. So
and Thor's in it, and then all the Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. people.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Anyone, if you've seen a Marvel movie, they're in it who isn't Deadpool, like who is owned by the same studio, basically. Yeah. Like the whole one studio. But the Avengers, like, it's post-Civil War, so Captain America and Tony Stark still aren't talking to each other, and which is interesting. Like, they didn't gloss over it; they kept that there, which is a big deal, like, because it halved up the entire, like, the superheroes.
Yeah, like literally everything that happened in the movie coming up to it is like where this drops off at.
Right. Yeah. It just kind of like it's a random day for these people. They have no clue what's happening. Like, who is it? Somebody comes and finds Doctor Strange, and he's like, "Holy shit, we need to get ready. There's some shit going down." And then Doctor Strange is trying to like rally the troops.
Tony finds him. Tony.
Right. Yeah. Tony finds him. But they have to like rally the troops, and in the comic books, it happens the exact same way, which I loved.
What's the other Iron Man?
Iron Soldier?
Yeah. It was Tony and him that went down.
Okay. But basically, like, they team up into these random teams that are just like it. They didn't like pick the teams. The teams are there by coincidence, and they use that to go forward. So one set of people is at Wakanda, so like Tony Stark, or not Tony Stark. Well, yeah, they are at Wakanda at one point. Tony Stark and Spider-Man, all them, and then they leave to go to where Thanos is or whatever, and then. The rest of them stay back, and they're basically just trying to hold Thanos off from getting some of the stone, like one of the Infinity War stones.
It's the one inside. Is it Vision? Vision said.
Yeah. So they're trying to stop that, and then, well, I mean, like a war breaks out between Thanos' forces and the Wakanda forces combined with Wakanda's like sister tribe, and they also help.
Dude, it's so cool too. It reminded me
really cool. There's a bunch of rhinos and it's a full literal war battle.
It reminded me of like episode 4 of like Star Wars when they have those because they had those same shields. It's like the exact same like bubble shield.
The droid bubble shield. Yeah, that's what like protects Wakanda. It's really cool.
It's cool.
But yeah, they don't hold back. There's real death. There's real battle stuff going on, and like at the end of the battle they get to this point where they've basically defeated all of Thanos' forces, but Thanos himself has not entered the battlefield. So once Thanos enters the battlefield, it kind of GG's it. He comes down, and then like all the superheroes go rush after him. So like Black Panther, Vision, Thor ends up showing up. Golly, I wish I could remember all this stuff now.
It goes into, and it's like what's crazy is they beat him, like Thor beats him, but he reverses time.
No, that's not. I don't think that's what happened.
With the Reality Stone.
No, at that point he has all the stones except for because he gets the Time Stone from Strange, off of Saturn.
Yeah.
That's what happened because so basically what happened.
They split the stones up.
Right. Yeah. They wanted them to be in different places, so it'd be hard for him to get them, but it literally doesn't matter because he's there. All right. So we looked up the actual plot, so we didn't sound like idiots entirely.
It's been a while since we've seen it because we saw it in theaters.
Yeah, I saw it like the week it came out, and then I saw it again like the next week. But it's just hard to remember everything. So basically, what happens is the Hulk comes down and gets Doctor Strange, not Iron Man. He tells them everything that's going on, and then the Guardians of the Galaxy are responding to distress calls from Thor's ship.
As Bruce Banner, though, not Thor.
Yeah, as Bruce Banner, not Hulk.
Not Hulk.
Yeah, because he can't be the Hulk anymore. That one was right. But the Guardians of the Galaxy go to help Thor, but they don't know it's Thor. But they arrive, and it's Thor, and they find like this.
It's just a distress signal from like a ship.
And they find like all the dead bodies and Thor alive, and they go help him. Like they get him. And
Thor doesn't have his hammer. Still.
Yeah, Thor doesn't have his hammer from the last Ragnarok.
Yeah.
And they go to Thor goes to this. I don't know how to describe it. It's like a planet where his hammer was created, and it uses the energy of a star to make the hammer.
It looks like the Death Star.
Yeah, it looks like the Death Star. And Peter Dinklage as a weird giant dwarf thing. I'm not sure what he is, but he like works there and he's the blacksmith of it, and they make his axe like the famous like Thor becomes Odin axe, and he empowers the entire embodiment of his godliness, and it's really cool, and he becomes like Thor, and he looks really badass.
And what's his name? Groot has to be like...
Yeah, Groot has to like cut his arm off to be like the handle of it. It's really very cool. And him and Rocket are there with him. And then they go back while all this Wakanda stuff is kind of happening. And then by the time they get back, the Thanos army and his like 3 commanders have been killed by the Wakanda stuff. But it's like a bloody battle, and a lot of people die. And like lower people, not superheroes, kind of yet.
Yeah.
But then like Thanos shows up. He gets the Mind Stone, which is in the Vision. He really just takes it out, like zero issue. Takes it out, puts it in, and
with like 2 fingers, just crushes his head.
Yeah, he literally just like It's bad. Okay, I couldn't talk that word for some reason. I don't know.
Crater? Is that what you're trying to?
He makes a crater in his head. But so that happens, and that's after he gets the Time Stone, because Doctor Strange just like gives it to him so that they don't all die, because. And Doctor Strange goes through, on Saturn or whatever. He goes through all of these like millions of possibilities of what could happen, and he sees what's going to happen. He knows exactly what's going to happen, and it's this crazy, scary foreshadowing crap. And you're like, oh my god, because at this point when you're watching the movie, you're like, man, we heard rumors that a lot of people were going to die, but I mean, it's a superhero movie. Who are they going to kill? Yeah, like in Marvel, they never kill heroes. They're not going to kill anyone.
This was the darkest Marvel movie.
Yeah, it was the darkest point. It's the darkest timeline.
Yeah.
But Doctor Strange gives him the thing, and then like he doesn't tell everyone what's going to happen, and everyone's like super confused of what's. And then like Thanos, like everyone on Saturn at least, is like, "Why did you give him that?" And he's like, "Well, I saw all of the possibilities, and this is the one where we live." That's what he says. It's super ominous, but. They are left to their own devices to figure out a way to get off Saturn. And Thanos leaves, and he goes to Earth, and he goes to Wakanda, and he shows up at the time, takes the stone out of Vision's head, he takes the Mind Stone, completes his Trinity. Thor shows up with Rocket and Groot.
Thor's hammer.
Thor hits the fuck out of Thanos, but like Thanos like takes it like a man, and he snaps his fingers, and then
it's when he activates then.
He snaps his fingers to activate it, and he literally kills half of the universe. Literally, he kills half the universe to balance it out. So what that means is Black Panther, Spider-Man, etc., superheroes die, and it impacts the entire Marvel universe. And what's been happening in the movies after that is also kind of crazy, because people just keep disappearing at the end of their freaking movies now. And it's really scary, and you don't know who's going to be freaking next. Which is good.
It's kind of crazy because Thanos technically really, like, isn't a bad... Well, like, he is a bad guy, but he doesn't think he's a bad guy. Because he just comes...
He literally thinks he's helping the universe.
The whole thing of Thanos is he goes to universes that are, like, basically overpopulated, and he takes out half of that universe, like, by snapping his finger. And since there's less people in the universe, then that world will start to thrive. So basically, he's saving worlds, technically.
Well, that's the idea. Well, okay, so in the comics, for reference, the Mistress of Death sends Thanos on this mission. So I'm kind of excited to see what the Mistress of Death is going to look like in the Marvel Universe, cinematically, because that's a big deal. But she sends... So Thanos is trying to prove to the Mistress of Death, who he's trying to essentially bang. It's kind of the vibe you get. And in the old school Infinity Wars, this is like in the 90s when these comics actually came out, like or 2000s. They're old. But Thanos, it's called like the Thanos Trials or something like that, and he goes on like these missions. It's the missions to get the Infinity Stone, and then the superheroes eventually find out what he's doing. And they're like, "Oh God, we have to stop him!" And they all get together, and Thanos does what he wants anyways, just like in the movie, and kills all of the superheroes. But this crazy stuff happens in the comics where I can't remember her name, but she's not in the movie, but it's like. Can't remember, but this chick gets the gauntlet from Thanos in this crazy turn of events because there's like gods fighting and stuff. It's a really crazy comic book series. If you haven't actually like read or watched videos over the Thanos stuff from back
There's
in the
a
day.
YouTube video, right? Where it just explains it?
I watch Comics Explained a lot, and he basically breaks down everything. That's how I keep up with comic stuff. So Comics Explained, there will be a link here or something. Video magic. I probably do. If I don't, it'll just look really stupid now. So, okay. As far as theory crafting goes, for post, okay, I know we butchered how Infinity War goes, but that's basically the gist, you know? Okay, but you understand.
It's the experience.
It's the experience. But you know what we're saying. Like, some shit goes down in Infinity War, and then he snaps, and everybody, like, as they die, they turn to dust, and it's all the memes. I mean, I'm sure you've seen it all. All of the Spider-Man, I don't want to die memes, you know, and all that stuff. So what I think is going to happen is that...
and the after credit, they call...
Captain Marvel. Captain Marvel's introduced in the post-credits, which is a big deal. She's, like, a big part of her stopping Thanos. Because she's a universal power. Because she's literally got universal power. So she's super strong. She's like Superman.
Well explained, Caleb.
I mean, that's the best way to explain. Like, people don't know who she is. She's not a very modern hero. She's really strong, and she used to be in the Air Force. Very much like Green Lantern, I guess. I didn't think about it like that. That's how Green Lantern gets his powers. But basically, I think that all of the heroes that are dead are in the Soul Gem with Adam Warlock, who is the guy that beats Thanos in the end in the comics. What's his name? If I can finally remember his name. But Adam Warlock is literally a warlock, and he's a super strong dude. And he lives in the Soul Gem, so I honestly think that's where they are. Like,
yeah, I mean, I think they're in, like, a different dimension, which could be the Soul Gem. And they're going to have to do something to get him back, because there's no way they kill Spider-Man. There's no way. I don't
Doctor
care
Strange. Doctor Strange's in there. He's, like, literally the most powerful Avenger who's not Hulk or Thor.
I don't care if they kill Doctor Strange or Black Panther, but they cannot kill Spider-Man, so...
Wow. Dedication to the man, the Spider-Man.
They cannot kill him.
Alright, fair enough. If to be fair, if the Flash was in the situation, I'd probably be losing my mind at this point. I'd probably be crying. I wouldn't be able to make a video about it at all. But yeah, I think what's going to happen next has already been kind of happening, like with Ant-Man and the Wasp, is that they're going to slowly roll out these universe-wide effects. Like in the end of Ant-Man and Wasp, the post-credit spoilers is Ant-Man goes into the subatomic level, and all three of the people that are out there to save him get Thanos. So, like, shit like that's gonna keep happening. Like Nick Fury gets Thanos, and
so when they get Thanos, he gets stuck subatomic level because they're supposed to pull him
right. Yeah. So he's like he could die. He could be there forever, and no one except for those three people would know how to get him out, because that's how it works. By the way, Ant-Man, we'll get that in a second, but Ant-Man and Wasp is actually a good movie. It kind of surprised me. It's better than the first one. Anyways.
Yeah, I didn't watch that one. I had to get Caleb to explain it to me before the podcast started.
Yeah, so. And it's really good. It's pretty good. But yeah, I think that the cinematic universe, the MCU, the Marvel Cinematic Universe, is going to be like very interesting to pay attention to over the next couple of years. With all the new movies coming out, with all the new superheroes they're introducing for the first time in this environment, it's going to be cool. Like we're gonna get the real Avengers, hopefully.
Do you think Venom's gonna have like a?
No, he's Sony.
Oh. Okay.
So they haven't confirmed if we'll know when Venom comes out if Spider-Man universe is Venom universe, which would be the ideal situation because Venom is really cool. But I think what's gonna happen with that is that they're gonna do another Venom in the Spider-Man universe, and it's gonna be not Hardy because he's already somebody else in the universe. So I think that's gonna be like a standalone little parallel thing. But I don't know.
Like
It'd be
Deadpool.
Cool. Yeah, like Deadpool. Mm-hmm. So maybe we'll see Venom and Deadpool. Actually, that'd be legit if Venom and Deadpool fight, because that would be so cool.
That'd be wild.
That would be wild. There would be so much cussing. There would be so much blood. Oh my god, it'd be great. Because Venom is not the guy who has been captured by Venom. Venom's its own thing. It's a monster. It's literally a monster taking over somebody's life. It's crazy. It's a crazy thing. I don't know. You have any thoughts on Infinity War? Any other thoughts, or are we good to move on?
Yeah, we can move on.
Okay. Well, if you haven't seen that movie, you should go watch it. Even if we spoiled it, it's still a really good movie.
It's worth that.
So Deadpool.
Fave.
Freaking Deadpool. Sugar Bear is my favorite character in Deadpool, and if you've seen the show, you know exactly who Sugar Bear is. God, I love Sugar Bear. Hell yeah. Okay, but Deadpool is hilarious. It's Deadpool 2. Deadpool 2 is hilarious. It's not as funny as the first one because the first one's original and they had all the first jokes, and it's the first time you see Deadpool, so it's even more better than you could want because Deadpool came. Like it's Deadpool, oh my god! But with the second one, you know what to expect because you've seen the first one. But they did a really good job of like twisting it up, adding a lot of new flavor. The music fit, it's all crazy.
DMX.
Yeah, it's all like
stuff.
just getting hype music. It's really great. They fight really cool stuff. There's other superheroes that are not Deadpool, like Jinx. Jinx is a real comic book hero, so that's pretty cool. He makes the X-Force, which is a real thing back in the day.
God,
X-Force
that is hilarious.
It's great. If you have not seen this movie, there's no way we could explain it where it would be just as funny. You have to watch the movie.
Basically, like X-Force is a real thing, and like a real like group gets together. But Deadpool decides to make X-Force, so we're like, me and Kev look at each other in the movies. We're like, what?
Yeah, what? The X-Men are gonna be in Deadpool, the real X-Men? Oh my god! But what happened was he put an ad out in the newspaper, and regular people showed up, and he called it X-Force.
And basically,
it's really funny though.
They all get together with a plan.
Yeah.
And
the plan goes horribly wrong.
They literally all die besides Deadpool and that girl.
Yeah, Jinx and Deadpool. The actual heroes are the only ones that live, and Deadpool doesn't give a flying fuck.
Yeah.
He does not care.
Everyone,
it's pretty great.
Everyone dies before they hit the ground, basically.
It's really hilarious. Like, they hit electric lines, they get run over by trains, they hit billboards and fall to their death, that kind of thing. It's pretty great. They get hit by a helicopter, I think.
One of them gets ran over.
Yeah, one of them gets ran over. It's crazy.
Oh, that Asian guy gets caught up in the blades in the helicopter.
Yes. Yes. And then so the whole show is post Deadpool finding out that his wife or soon to be wife is dead, and it's him getting over that and going through crap. And
he finds, what's that boy's name?
What?
It's all kind of about that boy.
Oh yeah, there's a mutant school where they try and get rid of your powers, and is that what you're talking about?
Yeah, and he finds I can't remember the guy. He finds a young boy.
Yeah,
and they both get like brought to jail.
Yeah.
And
like Supermax underwater jail.
Yeah, it's in a mountain, and they get they both escape. It's all about this kid pretty much.
Yeah, Deadpool's trying to become a real superhero throughout the time and figure out what he's about, but in the end,
superhero.
Well, yeah, he goes to the X-Men Manor and everything. Like he spends a lot of time there.
He's doing good.
So I mean, he tries to at least, but he murders a bunch of innocent people through the way. There's a bunch of cool jokes, obviously. There's cool death jokes. There's baby penis jokes. Surprisingly, he gets his legs cut off, and then Deadpool grows them back. But for a while, he gets his waist down cut off. Oh, he's just a waist up, so his dick and everything's gone. He's got to regrow it. So he does that, and while he's doing it, he's sitting on a couch with baby feet and his baby penis laying out, and everybody makes a comment as they walk into the room. It's a very classic scene. If you have not seen the scene, you should look it up on YouTube without any context, and it'll still be hilarious.
It's all darker humor, but
it's really great.
We love that, so
it's very much adult, rated R, and it's great.
That's why it's rated.
It's great. I think more superhero movies should be rated R so they could do the violent stuff correctly.
Especially DC movies.
Especially DC, like Batman.
Batman rated R. Oh yeah.
Like Superman could still be PG-13 because he's Superman, and that's what he was made for. Yeah, all that kind of stuff. But
the Spider-Man's DC. Yeah.
He's Marvel.
That's what I meant. Dyslexic moment. I'm sorry. Y'all pick up on that.
Okay, so when I was editing this video, I realized we didn't actually talk about who the villain was in Deadpool 2 and all that stuff. So I'll do it real quick before we move on to the next one, and I'll just put it in post. Basically, they fight Cable, which is like a really big deal. I don't know how this went over my head, but the Cable is introduced, and for those who don't know, Cable is a time-traveling superhero. He's got so many powers that he can stop himself from dying. He has this futuristic disease where he's being turned into a robot, basically. So basically, one arm is full metal. It's a full cyborg arm, and he's using his mental prowess of powers to stop it, basically. And he's also got this future technology that lets him travel back and forth in time. And in the comics, him and Professor X are close friends, and they use it to save the mutant race once or twice and, defeat villains. Well, in the show, Cable is coming back to kill Deadpool because, or no, to kill the boy me and Russell were just talking about. And Deadpool is trying to stop him because he's trying to be a good hero and stuff. And then he convinces Cable to do good. And by the end of it, Cable's a real superhero. You know, he becomes Cable, and Deadpool is Deadpool still. And one more thing is that once the movie is over, the after credits is basically Deadpool getting a hold of the time traveling device that Cable has and using it to fix literally every problem he caused. So the entire X-Force, he goes and saves them. Sugar Bear lives. Saves all the X-Force. Goes and saves his girlfriend. So it's a happy ending, and it's like this epic montage at the end of it. You should, if you go watch the show, make sure you stick around for that. Okay, now back to it. Okay, but yeah, Deadpool, top movie. I put it above Black Panther because I like it more overall. But Infinity War is still the best movie to come out. Superhero.
For me too.
Yeah, so Infinity War is the best superhero movie to come out. Cannot stress that enough. You need to go watch that. They actually. They are not like DC. They did not disappoint with Justice League like DC did. They did good. They went up to the middle.
Marvel's done pretty well with all their movies. Honestly.
Yeah, they established their superheroes. They developed their superheroes, and then they put them all together and let them kill stuff. While DC throws them all together and lets them kill stuff without establishing any superheroes at all, except for Superman and Batman, which is not enough.
Yeah,
and it really disappoints me. Because they could make an easily really good Flash movie. Because if they can make a good Flash TV show with much less money and ability to use effects, they can make a much better one in movie.
How about just putting Robin in the movie? I mean,
use a Robin maybe once in a while.
Yeah, there's literally 5 of them to pick from.
The third in the Batman trilogy, the Christian Bale one, the third one has a Robin, but he's not Robin.
Yeah, they literally set it up and didn't do anything with it.
I think it was Mark Wahlberg. Or some crap.
No, it was not Mark Wahlberg.
Are you sure?
No. Yeah, I promise you. It was like let's look it up right now.
Are you sure? No, I don't feel like looking it up. It's not that important, honestly.
I can promise you, viewers, it was not Mark Wahlberg.
He looks like him.
No, he did.
He's a white man with brown hair and he's kind of stocky.
But he had he had like a buzz cut though.
Yeah, because he was a cop. Okay. Anyways. Okay, so the next movie on the list, Deadpool 2, must see. You need to go watch that stuff, and it's full of comic book humor, and it's great. If you like Deadpool at all, it'll be perfect for you. So the next one I have written down is Ant-Man and Wasp, and now Russell has not seen this, but I briefed him.
No, we already talked about it.
Well, we talked about the after credit.
That was
just the after credit.
Oh, okay.
So the plot for Ant-Man and the Wasp is Ant-Man is after Civil War, and during the Civil War stuff, he signed a piece of paper saying he wasn't going to do what he did, basically, and he went and did it. And he was on house arrest, which was the only way for him not to be in trouble, was to be on house arrest for X amount of time. I think it was since the last movie came out, so like years, actually. And he's chilling with his daughter, he's become a good dad, all that kind of stuff. Hasn't been Ant-Man since Civil War stuff. And then Hank Pym, the OG Ant-Man, comes and finds him and says, okay, we need your help. Basically what happens is they need his help because Hank can't go subatomic because he's an old dude, I guess. And they want to find his wife. And they think that he is the link, he as in Scott, Ant-Man, is the link to finding Hank Pym's wife in subatomic level, which means like he's so small, he's in a whole other world because he's like living among the molecules. Like he's like really small. You can't say how small he is because he's subatomic. Okay. But yeah, they go subatomic. Essentially, they get his wife out, and it's really crazy. The movie is really cool because they showed this really, really trippy stuff when you go subatomic because you don't know actually what it looks like. So they're just kind of guessing at a point, and it's like this weird, gooey, distorted looking stuff. It doesn't look like anything. It's just really distorted. It's really hard to explain. But it's like a trip. It's crazy. Anyways, they get it. They get the wife out, but the wife now has new powers. She can like touch you in energy. I don't know. It's just really cool. And there's a bunch of comedy in it. I don't know. I'm doing a terrible explanation of this movie. If you had watched it, we could have probably done this better.
Yeah.
This is your fault.
I'm sorry.
Okay, but anyways,
Honestly, I mean, I will give Caleb some credit. He kind of did explain it better than he's explaining it now to me off the camera.
I don't know. I'm struggling.
If that helps you if that helps you feel better.
It doesn't, because they've seen what I've already said. It's a situation. Okay. Anyways, the gist of what I'm trying to say is Ant-Man and Wasp is actually a good movie. The people that play the characters, they do a good job. The music isn't notable. I didn't actually notice any. So I guess that's good. You're not supposed to notice it, but it's also not good because you didn't notice anything good.
That's probably like really good music, and Caleb's just...
No, legit. No, I listened for this stuff. I did.
It wasn't any like Rolling Stones or anything.
I mean, I wouldn't name it, but nothing stuck out, is what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Like, it was just like, it was average, but it wasn't bad. The cinematography is really good. Like, there's a lot of good scenes. There's a lot of cool stuff, like where they use effects and it looks realistic. Like when he grows super tall, he's growing out of like the San Francisco Bay, and he's crazy.
CGI was good.
Yeah, the CGI was really good. There's a lot of CGI because they're shrinking items. Like they throw cars at each other now, and then they enlarge and like squish people and all this crazy stuff. Like it's really cool. They use like Ant-Man is like in concept is really stupid. Oh, he can shrink. Oh, what are you gonna do with that? But like they use it to like be really cool. Like they use it to fight. They use it to gain momentum and stuff like that.
Infinity War pretty good.
He wasn't in Infinity War.
In Civil War.
He was in Civil War.
I keep which I can't talk. Basically, that's my problem. I can't talk. But they like shrunk him down super small, and he like tore apart like Iron Man stuff. And
yeah, he just went in there and destroyed Iron Man's suit. Like Ant-Man is like for those who don't know, Ant-Man, Captain America, and a few others are the OG Avengers. Like they are the original Avengers. Like Hank Pym, when they're in the 40s, would have been our original Avenger, but now like the cinematic universe changed all up, and this is them catching up with it. So like Ant-Man is actually a vital part of the Avengers storyline in general. Not Universal, like not Thanos stuff. So he's not really going to be in that. But like relative to Earth, he'll be pretty important because Hank Pym is a super genius essentially with science. So and his daughter is as well. But the show's good. It's a good movie.
Wasp.
Yeah, his daughter's Wasp. And the enemy they fight in this one's really cool. They're called Ghost, and like they have like this issue with like the supernatural issue where they can't like forces are pulling their body out of existence. Basically, is the best way to explain it, and they're having trouble sticking together. Like she has trouble being whole, and unless she's wearing a suit or in a special chamber. But like she's trying to steal what Hank Pym and them are doing to go subatomic, because if she goes subatomic,
that should be safe.
Well, there's like powers or there's energy you can harness at that level and bring back, and it would help her. So they're trying to fight and get that stuff back. They're stealing it back and forth, fighting each other on the roads. It's all based in San Francisco, by the way. So it's all this hilly roads and windy roads, and it's actually really cool. And throughout the whole time, Ant-Man's suit keeps malfunctioning. So he gets stuck at like this 8-year-old height. So it's like this little short guy, and he's like, it's really hilarious actually. And then at one point he gets stuck at like this random like 15 foot. So like a pickup truck is like a scooter to him basically. So like that's how he uses it, and it's like just a bunch of quirky stuff that literally no other superhero would be able to have an issue with, is like their powers messing up, but like. Because it's technology, it messes up, and they do. It's really cool. It's cool. I advise watching it. It's not better than Infinity War, Black Panther, or Deadpool, but that doesn't mean it's bad because those movies are amazing. So I advise watching it if you're into Marvel. On a more family-friendly note, The Incredibles 2 came out this year, and I was beyond hyped to see this. I saw this like third or fourth day it came out, and I went alone because I was so excited to see it. I could not wait.
Kid was definitely more excited than me. I went with Kirsty. But it was like 2 weeks after.
Yeah, I was. I've been waiting for like 14 years to see this movie.
See, I was never like The Incredibles. Like, didn't really have a big impact in my life when I was a child, so I wasn't too excited. But I mean,
I love the movie. We played the GameCube game. Where
Jesus Christ.
Dude, no. That game was awesome. Okay, if you have not played that game, do not talk shit on it, Russell. Okay, this game isn't. No, it's legit really good. It's like actually really good. It's kind of like the old the good Spider-Man game where you like run around and do missions and stuff, but it's not free world. It's just story. But like it's like the same concept, kind of like it feels the same. Anyways, Incredibles 2 is pretty cool. It picks up right where Incredibles 1 left off with the mole dude. They have to fight them. And the entire time they're trying to convince people that superheroes should be back in the light and helping people, while these evil corporations are trying to keep them down because they cost money.
Oh, they destroy them.
And they just destroy the city.
That's the biggest part.
They destroy the city. So, like, they're trying to fix the public relations aspect of it. And it's Elastigirl is the front of it, and Mr. Incredible is not very happy with that. He's a stay-at-home dad, and he has to, like, get used to that. So, like, the whole story is him becoming used to not being in the limelight.
I mean, it makes sense because the whole reason was because, like, superheroes, when they fight bad guys, they just destroy things. Like,
yeah, and he's the most notable one that destroys crap.
Yeah, he just has superhuman strength and tears down buildings.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah. And then, the baby...
Jack.
Jack?
Mm-hmm.
What's the fast one's name?
Dash.
Okay. Jack finds his powers, which he has like 17 billion.
He's really got like 17 powers. He can become a mini firing raging Hulk, which is weird. He can teleport.
Invisible.
He can go to a fourth dimension.
That's awesome.
It's really crazy, and they have to use like they go. If I don't remember her name, but if you remember the Incredibles 1, the person that makes their suits special for them, they have to go to. The dad, Mr. Incredible, brings the baby to him, and he's like,
her.
Okay, yeah, her, and he's like, please help me. And she's like, for you, yes, I will. And then she's like, once she sees the powers, she's like, before she sees the powers, she's super reluctant. She's like, I don't want to do this. It's a baby. I hate babies. And then after she sees the powers, she's like, oh my god, drooling and stuff.
Yeah, she was excited. And he like basically needs help the entire time because he calls on that ice guy.
Yeah, Frozen.
Yeah, and needs his help,
Yeah.
and he just can't take care of these kids, basically.
Yeah, and I totally forgot that Frozen was Samuel L. Jackson. It blew my mind when I heard his voice. I was like, oh my god, I forgot Samuel L. Jackson is Frozen, and it made it perfect. He fits the role so well because he just yells the whole time. It's great. But yeah, Jack is a menace, and they have to use cookies to coax him out of using powers and destroying stuff, which is also hilarious.
Yeah. If he goes into the fourth dimension, they got to get him back with a cookie. Like, Jack want a cookie?
Yeah, and they have like this new suit, and they have like a way to track him and stuff, and that comes into play towards the end of the movie. And before I get to that, the coolest part about this was they brought in a bunch of new superheroes. So like they're not notable or anything, but they brought in superheroes to like make the world full, right? Like there's actually like a like it's not randomly just a family of superheroes and one Frozen guy. There's actually like a society of heroes across the world, and they introduce that, opens the world a bit, lets more movies be made, TV shows, all that kind of stuff. So that's interesting. So there's gonna be more stuff coming out. But yeah, like the evil villain basically is a hypnosis person, best way to put it, but with technology. And they're tricking people, and they're tricking the superheroes to be bad, so that people don't let superheroes be normal and help. So they're illegal because it helps them. Because she doesn't, the evil person doesn't like superheroes because of some old backstory reason, which is too complicated to. I don't feel like talking about it, but I mean, you can watch the movie. Yeah. It's talked about the whole time. But essentially, it's like the story of the family not hating each other the whole time, coming together, and stopping the evil, putting the day to safeness. I don't know.
Pretty much the same concept as the first one.
Yeah, it is the same exact concept, but it's cool. I don't know. I really liked it. I was not disappointed. It's a solid show. I advise watching it. If you liked Incredibles 1, you'll like Incredibles 2, essentially.
It wasn't a waste of time, for sure.
Mm-hmm.
No.
Okay, so that's all the ones that we could think of that have come out that are worth talking about, at least.
In this year.
Yeah, this year. So now we'll talk about the ones coming up. And for these, we literally just watched the trailers on some of these, and I added them as we were watching them. And there's a lot of really cool stuff coming out. Like, the first one's Aquaman. As a DC fan, more stuff coming out makes me happy. The trailer looks cool. It looks better than the poster did. The poster looked very photoshopped and fake.
I thought the poster looked cool.
Well, I mean, it looks cool, but it looks like it's not like they didn't take their time with it. Like they did it really fast. But the trailer looks cool. Like you see the Atlantean people, you see Aquaman.
Atlantis.
Yeah, you see Atlantis, which is really cool and bright and vibrant, which is something I like.
You get a good idea how fast he can swim.
Yeah, he's literally the Flash but underwater, which is interesting. It shows you how he can control literally every fish from a young age. It shows his backstory, and it shows how he gets to this point. And he shows how reckless for abandon he is, which is the Aquaman they're going for, I guess. Because, I mean, there's two types of Aquaman. There's one where he's like the actual Aquaman king, like he's very righteous, all that stuff. And then there's one where he's this, rebellious. And
he's
then
before all that, right?
Yeah. He's kind of like rebellious until he takes the mantle, like as a man kind of thing.
I think they picked like the perfect actor.
Yeah, he's very. Yeah, I agree. He looks. He doesn't have blonde hair like the comics portray him as, but it fits like a cultural theme that they're going for, and I like it. It's pretty cool. He's got tats all over him.
I don't know the actor, but it's the same guy as the.
He's from Game of Thrones. Yeah. He's Khaleesi's first husband. So if you know that.
The Dothraki people.
Yeah, the Dothraki guy. It's pretty cool. I'm looking forward to it. I think it comes out next year. No. It comes out the end of this year. It comes out this winter. So that'll be cool. The next one on our list is Captain Marvel.
I don't think there's like a real like a because the trailer was super short, didn't reveal much.
No, it was like 2 minutes long. That's a long trailer.
Wait, are you thinking about the Shazam one or the Captain Marvel one?
Captain Marvel. Okay, so essentially this for those who don't know, Captain
shows
Marvel.
How she got her powers.
Right. Yeah. Well, it doesn't show how she got it, but it shows she's got powers and she's very intergalactic. Like space is something to her, I guess.
Did she get it when the plane crashed?
I'm not sure the exact story because I've never read the comics myself. I only know from what I watched from Comics Explained, where he briefly talks about it when he was talking about Infinity War stuff and then his own theories and stuff, which is kind of where I get a lot of my ideas. Because he's like the only person I know of that's not comic historian, I think, that like talks about theory crafting and stuff. So it's like, I don't know. Anyways, so Captain Marvel is very important to the cinematic universe because it opens up the whole more than just Earth superheroes, I guess is the best way to put it. You know, like Guardians of the Galaxy kind of did that, or did that a lot because like all of them are extraterrestrial. But this one opens it up more because Captain Marvel is a universal power for the Avengers universe. She's super strong. She's equivalent to Superman from what I've been told. And she's kind of like Tinkerbell. She doesn't do anything unless she's actually needed because she's super strong and there's no point. Like she'll just win easily. She wants a challenge. Is the way she is in the comic books. Now in the movies, I have no clue how she's going to be, but the trailer shows like an ex-Air Force captain crashing and then like powers happen. Nick Fury's involved. It looks like the movie's going to show her backstory and then it's probably going to lead up to the point now and then how she's going to be influential in the next big movie probably.
Infinity War 2.
Yeah, I'm curious what they're going to call it because...
Part 2.
Well, I mean, they might. I don't know. But I have no clue. Yeah. Anyways, I don't have much to say about that one. I'm not a huge Marvel fan, so I'm not like well versed into it. So the next one is Shazam. Shazam's gonna be pretty freaking cool.
This one's the trailer I probably got most excited about.
Yeah, this one's gonna be really cool. The way they do the transformation from Billy Batson into Shazam is really awesome. The big lightning strike is perfect. They're finally introducing the DC literal magic world into the cinematic universe, which is a very big deal. It helps a lot. It unfolds like a whole plethora of villains and heroes, like all that stuff. Like Constantine, if you've ever seen the show, is literally all about magic in DC universe. So like it's that whole area being opened up, and Shazam is really cool. Shazam is just as strong as Superman.
And he's a kid.
And he's a child, and he lives in a foster home. And there are comic book episodes where the entire foster home becomes Shazam's. All the kids. I mean, it's a very kid-based comic book. It's very PG-13 because it's meant for children.
Yeah, it's gonna be funnier.
Yeah, there's like
not like
humor in it.
Like
kid jokes, like like really cheesy stuff.
Not like a Deadpool humor, but
right?
Like,
yeah,
it's gonna be like a Spider-Man type humor. Is kind of what we're comparing it to.
Happy-go-lucky kind of thing. And I don't know. It's gonna be good. I hope so, at least. I really hope it's going to be good because Shazam has a lot of potential in the DC world, and in the comics, it's, in my opinion, not fleshed out enough. There should be more Shazam. Should be more Shazam.
Yeah.
More stuff.
I mean, this is the one trailer that got me the most excited.
Yes. We watched that a minute ago, and he was really pumped about it. So the next one is Spider-Verse, which is an animated show, movie that's coming out. If it's not the end of this year, it's next year. It's soon. And basically, this one's super important because Spider-Man just died in Infinity War. So they're putting out more Spider-Man content. And this one introduces Miles Morales, which in modern comic day storyline is Spider-Man right now because Peter Parker's gone.
In Brooklyn.
Well, yeah, I mean, I don't know. The story for Miles Morales is interesting. It's I don't know how to describe it because I'm not very well versed in it, so I don't want to say the wrong thing.
Is he like he's in a completely different universe, like different timeline?
Okay, so there's a Spider-Man that's cloned from Peter Parker, and I don't know if that's Miles Morales or not. And there's also a Spider-Man from other dimensions because that's a thing. So he could be either one of those things, and I'm not sure because there's a Spider-Man from Houston, there's Spider-Man from New York, and then like
is there a Spider-Man? Because there's like different parts of New York, right?
Right. Yeah. I mean, he could easily be like just in Brooklyn, and the other Spider-Man somewhere else.
Bronx and
yeah. I mean, it could easily be
Staten Island.
Like the original Spider-Man's in like the Manhattan. Yeah. So I'm not sure. We're not Marvel fans, so we're not well versed. If we're wrong, I would be happy for you to tell me, and so I can know. That'd be nice. But basically, it's an older Peter Parker showing Miles Morales the ropes of being a Spider-Man. Basically, and it's Gwen Stacy from another dimension, who is Spider-Man in that dimension, coming here and doing stuff. I don't know. It's pretty crazy. It looks like a good way for Marvel to open up the universe and make it easily accessible for people to understand, which is really good. That helps out Infinity War stuff, like that helps out the whole universe. So like, universe build. That's like perfect. So the next one after that one, and also it's animated, but it looks like a comic book, if that makes sense. Like the animation makes it look like a comic book.
Or kind of confused. It almost looked like it was supposed to be 3D.
Yeah, like when you take off your 3D glasses and look at it for a second, it looked like that, but it's fine. It's really cool. It's something different. Looks interesting. Okay, this next one, if you're an anime fan at all, you're going to be super freaking excited. If we're a Batman fan at all, it's actually really cool because this is comic book stuff coming to life on the screen. And it's called Batman Ninja.
And
it's Batman Ninja.
Side note, me and Caleb are like kind of anime dorks, so
yeah,
we like Naruto and Dragon Ball Z and all that.
Yeah, it's lit.
I mean, it's awesome.
Mm-hmm. I want to be Hokage. Okay, so Batman Ninja is essentially like if, for whatever reason, in one storyline or plotline or alternate dimension or whatever, that Gotham gets sucked back into old school Japan, and they're all, that's like where they fight. So Joker's got a samurai sword. Batman becomes literally a samurai ninja, which is awesome.
They're all had like Two-Face.
Yes, Grodd's in there, like all the villains. Robin's there.
Nightwing's there too.
Nightwing's there. So it's Damian Robin. So it's like up to date Batman, and it's subtitled, so it's actually an anime, like it's in Japanese.
And the like
it looks really
art
cool.
is like pretty awesome.
I'm gonna put a screenshot up here so you can see it, obviously, but it's really cool. Like it's very different. It looks interesting. The voice acting.
Is it gonna be like a movie though?
Yeah. It looked like a movie.
That's gonna be crazy that all the villains are gonna be in that one movie.
Yeah, it's pretty nuts looking.
It
looks pretty nuts. And I'm really excited because DC. Comic books in general, they have this thing where they're called one-shots, and one-shots are essentially, what if this happened? And they tell you the story of what if that happened. So this is essentially that. What if Batman was in old school Japan with all of his villains and had to fight him with Robin and all that stuff? Like, what if? It's very similar to Logan from the Wolverine Logan. If you've ever seen that movie, it's highly suggested. It's one of my favorite superhero movies of all time. It is a very good movie. And it's essentially what if mutants were starting to be taken out and Logan was really old. Everybody's really old. It's 50 years in the future, and there's new supernatural or mutants coming through. Like, what if?
Like a new age.
Yeah, like what if something really bad happened to the X-Men and this was the consequence. Like, we get to see it. It's like they're called one-shots. They're not chronologically in the story, but we get to see what happens. And it's really cool. So stuff like that's happening a lot. And it makes me kind of excited for the future of this. Like I was talking about earlier, all the dorks and stuff from the 80s and 90s that read and watched all the good stuff back in the day are now making it even better with a lot of money that they've been given because they have really good talent and they can write. And the writing is really cool nowadays. So it gets me excited. Like Batman Ninja, hell yeah. Let's go.
It's going to be cool.
Okay, so the next thing, and this is the last one we have, and again, if there's more, let us know.
This
but
was fan made.
Okay, so it's called Batman Under the Red Hood, and it looks like the story of
Jason Todd.
Yeah, Jason Todd becoming the Red Hood. And for those who don't know, in the comic book world, Jason Todd is Robin, and he gets abducted by Joker. Joker makes him literally go crazy.
And they have a movie over like the part of him getting tortured and stuff.
Mm-hmm. And it's also in the video games. So if you play the Batman video games, you know what I'm talking about because it's one of them. It's like one of the newest ones.
Is it Arkham Knight?
I'm not sure. Actually, honestly, I don't remember the names, but it's one of the. It's like I think it's the newest Batman that came out. But Jason Todd is tortured by Batman, and in the movie, if you watch just Batman vs Superman, and it shows the Batman lair, it shows Robin's suit, and it has ha 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 on it. That's Jason Todd's.
Jason's.
Yeah, it's Jason Todd's. And when that showed, everyone that's read the comics knew what was going on because that's like right out of the comic book. That's Joker's tagline, and he abducted him, and Batman was searching for him forever and could not find him. Joker did a really good job of hiding him, and essentially the whole time Joker is trying to make Batman's worst nightmare come true. He makes someone he loves evil, and he has to fight him. And it's basically that. And Jason
is to kill Batman too.
Yeah,
he tries to blow him up.
Yeah. It's like his whole thing. He thinks Batman left him for Joker to torture. He thinks it's Batman's fault. Joker convinces him of that. Psychological warfare, essentially. And it's basically the story of Batman having to convince him to come back to the good side, which he does in the comics. He comes back and he is Red Hood, and he uses guns, so he's not like typical Robin, and he's like a distraught guy. But he does his own thing. He's kind of like Deadshot. Very similar. I would compare him very much to Deadshot. But yeah, the movie-wise, that's all we got right now.
And he's the Robin. Right,
he's the second Robin. It's Dick Grayson, Jason Todd, Damian.
Yeah.
In order, at least.
Yeah. And there's a big deal of why because Damian's Bruce's son, and why this is a big deal of why like Batman didn't want another Robin.
Right.
Because
yeah.
of how this happened.
Yeah. Batman did not. Multiple Robins have died on him.
Yeah.
Multiple. It's like it's a thing with Batman. If you've ever been a Batman fan, you know that death is a very big part of that world, and they're not afraid to kill people. So, it's interesting. And then Batman's a really common. Like I said, he would be my second because of the world they create. It's very dark. If you ever seen the show Gotham, it gives you a little good glimpse of kind of how it is. You know, like it's super criminally scummy. Real world Detroit.
Gotham City's based off.
Yeah,
of
it's Detroit, and then Metropolis is New York, etc., etc.
Yeah.
The Twin Cities are. It's like I feel like it's Minnesota or whatever. I don't know. It doesn't really specify. I haven't figured that out yet. Anyways, so that's all for the movies. We're gonna break these up, do a little differently. I know this one went off for 40 minutes. Holy cow! I did not expect that. Okay, but we're gonna stop it here.
These up.
Yeah, we're gonna stop it here. Do a little new format, and then we're going to talk about TV shows next in the next little video. So, thanks for watching.